Welcome to Behind the Recipe. I'm your host, Christina Hitchcock. Join me every week as we dive into the joys of cooking, explore kitchen tips and tricks, and share delicious recipes that will inspire your next meal. So whether you're a seasoned cook or just learning your way around the stove, there is something here for everyone. Now, if meal planning makes you want to scream into a takeout menu, don't worry. I've got a simple system that will change the game. So stick around and I'll tell you more. But before we do, let's talk a little bit about meal planning. Now, before you roll your eyes or skip ahead, just hang with me for a second. I know the words meal planning can feel loaded, like it's some big Pinterest perfect project that only ultra organized moms can pull off. But trust me, that is not the case. In fact, most of the things we think we know about meal planning, they're total myths. So today I'm setting the record straight and sharing the 5 biggest meal planning myths that might be sabotaging your success and what you need to do instead. Okay, so myth number 1 is meal planning takes too much time. This is probably the biggest one I hear. And people think they need an entire Sunday afternoon, 3 apps, and a spreadsheet in order to make a meal plan. The reality check, meal planning can take as little as 10 to 15 minutes a week. That's it. That's all it takes me. And here's what I do. I keep a list of our family's favorite meals in a notebook. Usually it's Notepad on my computer or on my phone. Nothing fancy, just a simple go-to list. Then once a week, I look at our schedule and plug in 4 or 5 meals from that list. And done. That's it. Super simple. It only takes me about 15 minutes, and then I can build my grocery list from there. 1 trip to the store, 1 plan for the week, done. And those 15 minutes that I spend doing that actually save hours during the week. There's that, you get rid of that last minute stress of, oh, what am I going to have for dinner tonight? Oh, I got to stop at the store on the way home to pick up something for dinner. Or, I'll just order takeout because it's easier and I don't feel like dealing with it. I mean, how familiar does that sound? So one of the pro tips here, we talked about this in a previous episode with Corinne Schmidt, is using theme nights, things like Taco Tuesday or Pasta Monday or Pizza Friday. It gives you some structure without being restrictive. And it's a great way to get your family involved and, kind of keep everybody happy. Myth number 2, you have to plan every single meal. Nope, no way. Meal planning doesn't mean mapping out breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks for 7 days straight. That's exhausting. I wouldn't do it. That's just not me. I usually just plan dinners. Breakfast is easy. Usually in our house, it's a grab your own breakfast. So whether you're having cereal or you're going to whip up some eggs or toast. Listen, I could live on toast. I love toast. It's in my top 5 favorite foods of all times. So I'm happy with toast for 3 meals a day. Lunches on our end are also like they're leftovers or sandwiches and easy. So they don't need a ton of planning on my end. But dinner is what does. And dinner is where I know I can save the most stress and frustration in my life. But I keep it simple because the goal here is to reduce stress and not add more. So if I make my meal planning process so cumbersome, I'm going to stress out and just not do it. That's just the way. I mean, it is what it is. So myth number 3, you need to be a great cook to be a meal planner. And this one kind of breaks my heart a little because you do not have to be a chef to meal plan. In fact, meal planning is what helps you become more confident in the kitchen. I want you to start with what you know. If you've got 3 recipes that your family loves, great. Rotate those in. And by recipes, I'm not talking about the big fancy Sunday dinner that takes, an hour and a half to cook. I'm talking if your family likes a jar of spaghetti sauce and a box of pasta, and that counts as dinner, you put that in your meal plan. There is no judgment. And if you want to try new recipes, I'm going to say try 1 recipe a week, max, just 1, because can get stressed out pretty easy if you're trying like 3 or 4 new recipes a week. But if you do 1, you can start working that into your rotation. I've got tons of foolproof, family-friendly recipes on It Is a Keeper that you can trust will turn out right every time. They've been deemed keepers on my end. That's how they ended up there. So, Head over there, pick out a couple of your favorites. You can even search by 30-minute recipes if that's your jam, and start working those into your rotation. Number 4, meal plans have to be rigid. People think that once you write it down, you're stuck with it. But meal planning isn't the food police. I mean, really, who's going to turn you in? You? Nobody else knows you're deviating from the plan except for you and your family, and that's okay. Plans are flexible. Life happens. Maybe you're too tired to cook Tuesday's dinner. No problem. Swap it with Thursday's. It's perfectly okay. I always also like to keep one like whatever night on the plan where we're having leftovers, or one of my favorites, breakfast for dinner. I love breakfast for dinner. It just makes me feel like a kid again. Remember, like I remember when I was like in elementary school and I would buy school lunch and they had breakfast for lunch. It was like such a treat. And I still feel like that when I make breakfast for dinner. But I digress. Another one of our go-to. So my son has a lawn care business, and in the summer months, there's some nights where he's out cutting grass until dark. So we don't eat dinner till 8 or 9 o'clock at night. And you don't want anything big and heavy. So we'll just have grilled cheese. It comes together fast, or BLTs. Comes together fast, super easy, not a heavy meal late at night. So I like to keep those kind of in my hip pocket so that I can pull them out when I need to. And give yourself permission to move things around. It is your meal plan. Nobody's judging. Nobody's turning you into the meal planning police. So myth number 5, you have to cook everything from scratch. And this one is huge. Meal planning doesn't mean making homemade bread and scratch sauces every single night. It doesn't have to be done. Use shortcuts. Get the pre-chopped veggies from the store. Buy a rotisserie chicken. Sub in the jarred sauces. Pull out some frozen rice. Use shortcuts when and where you can. It's perfectly okay. It's about getting the meal on the table and sharing the time with your family, not stressing out over the details. You're not cheating. You're being smart. And dinner doesn't have to be gourmet to be good. So one of my favorite tricks is planning like assembly only meals where we kind of have things made already and we're doing like a build your own taco bar or a salad night or a sandwich board. Things that you really only have to do minimal work. You're just basically opening containers and bringing stuff out of the fridge, setting things up, and you're not really cooking or preparing all this stuff. Super easy, super satisfying. So here are a couple other tips to help you make meal planning easier. Create that master list of meals and keep adding to it. So as you find a recipe that you like, put it on that master list. And speaking about finding recipes you like, save your meal plan. So if you do them in a digital notepad or if you're writing them down somewhere, keep those old meal plans so you can recycle them every few weeks. Now, I talked about, I think, again, in the episode with Corinne about a meal planning product that I had. It was a booklet I had, and you had half of the sheet was the meal plan, and the other half there was a perforation, and the other half was the shopping list. So you can write your shopping list, tear it off, and go. And at first, I didn't see the value in all of this. And then the one day I was flipping through, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I found the gold mine. All my old meal plans. I was able to go back through them and find recipes that my family loved that I had forgotten about. And let's face it, we all want to get out of that dinner rut. So that's a great way to recycle what you already have. Number 3, plan around your busiest days. I know what it's like to be busy. My son was involved in everything. My husband does not work a normal shift. He's all over the place. And if he's not working, he's on call. So I know what it's like to have busy days where people are coming and going and meals have to be flexible to fit. So plan for that. Don't let it be the hindrance. Plan for it. Remember to use what's in your pantry and freezer first, right? Get those things out of there. If you've already got them, they're quick shortcuts for you. Start there when you're looking to build your meal plan for the week. See what you have and build around that. And most importantly, just make it work for you. There's no judgment. Nobody is grading you on the quality of your meal plan. So make sure your dinners work for you and just get it done. And if you're ready to make meal planning even easier, I've got something for you. It's my no-fail meal plan system. It's a done-for-you toolkit that includes easy recipes, time-saving cheat sheets, a build-your-own meal plan formula, and everything you need to get dinner on the table without the stress. I even included 3 done-for-you meal plans with the shopping list already mapped out by recipe. So you could easily say, if you don't like Monday's dinner, you could easily find that on the shopping list and take those ingredients off. I tried to think of everything to make it as easy for you and remove all the barriers to meal planning. So I will include the link to that in the show notes so you can grab that meal planning system. So whether you're a total beginner or just tired of reinventing the wheel every week, this system will save your sanity and save your schedule. Grab it in the show notes. And meal planning isn't about perfection, right? It's about peace of mind. If it helps you feel less stress and more in control, it's working. And if it doesn't, change it up. You get to make the rules here. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode of Behind the Recipe. I hope you enjoyed our conversation and picked up a few tips or recipes to try in your kitchen. And if you love this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your friends. And of course, I'd love to hear from you. So send me your questions, feedback, or recipe ideas. Just head over to itisakeeper.com/BTR. Until next time, happy cooking, and remember, everything's better when shared in the kitchen.